Good evening. I'm gonna kick it off with a question. Here's the question. Why is it that some people in life, and we know these people, they have all the information, right? But they struggle to have any kind of success. They get stuck. On the flip side, you got people that have no information. Like they start out wandering around, but they have successful businesses. They end up killing it in life. Like they're almost borderline idiots, but make things work, right? Now, we all know both these people. It's the overprepared person who seems to have all these things in place, but they're stuck. And then the underprepared person who, for some reason in life, they seem to get to this point where they just make things happen, right? Now, if information was all we needed to be successful, the latter person just wouldn't exist. That's what told me over years that it's not what you know, but it's the action you take, which is who you are with what you know. What I call your self-image, or more so, your identity, which is who you are when you're not thinking about who you are. It's your natural habits and patterns, your instinctual, like the paradigms, how you see the world. It's your decision-making, and more so, it's your habits and actions you take. Because those habits and actions have created your life till now, and they'll continue to do so. Now, my name is Anthony Trucks. I'm a former NFL athlete, #1 dark work coach in the world, and I have grown up in a crazy world. I grew up in a heinous foster care system, where in that world, you don't have the ability to dream. And even more so, a question is something that kind of rolls in your head all day long. Like, this is my crazy kid childhood. Looks fun. Inside, that guy was dying. But the question led me to something unique. Here's a question I had. Who am I? We all ask this question at points in time, like, who are you? Where do you show up? And interestingly, it's an identity question. And this question is one that kind of over time will kind of roll us into something, but it taught me an interesting lesson, which I'm going to share with you guys today, and more of a belief, I would say, which is that identity outranks information. Now, I was a guy that I remember in a situation at 3 years old, I'm in the front of an apartment complex where I met my mom, and my mom's there, and I remember hearing my name get called. So I get up and I walk to the back of the apartment. My mom is there. She has blue jeans, a white shirt. My mom's white, so pale skin and dark hair, and she's crying. I don't know why she's crying, but I remember she kind of walks me over and she gives me a kiss, hands me off to a strange woman who I've never met before. She walks me to a black 1983 Crown Victoria. I get in the car. My 3 siblings, all younger, are in the back seat crying. So I have no idea what's going on. What I come to find is I'm being put into foster care. Now, if you don't know about foster care, not a good system. In fact, it's a very broken system that statistically creates broken humans. 75% of all people in prison right now in America are former foster kids. Not set up to do very well, right? And so when you're in that experience of life, you get slowly kind of a subtle thing takes place. You're being wired to believe something, which is I'm unworthy, I'm unwanted, I'm worthless, and oftentimes you're scared. Even more so, you don't just lack like stability in life, you actually lack a sense of identity, except for a bad one, being not wanted, right? And when that kind of is the thing in the background kind of wiring you, you have to navigate life because you don't think like, I come from a place that makes sense. You don't know where you're going in life. You don't feel accepted. You don't even feel deserving of anything good. Winning feels completely alien to us in those situations. But I had what I call a hidden advantage. Now, my advantage was this: intelligent guy, smart, to a fault sometimes. My wife won't say that, but it's a different conversation, different time. But here's the truth. I find like in class as a kid, I was in this realm where like I knew the answer to questions, but I would never raise my hand because I was afraid. Like I knew the answer, but I didn't identify as the kid who was supposed to know. So the rest of the kids saw themselves as like, man, I know things. I saw myself as just taking up space. And when you go through this kind of journey of life, it's interesting because we're in the same class with the same information, but different identities. So different actions, different outcomes in life. And I got this lesson from life, which is information is not what controls our actions. It's our identity. I believe our identity is responsible for all the success and lack thereof we'll have in our life. So for me at this age, I'm like, I don't feel right, but I started kind of like going to find an identity in life. It was seek it out, right? What you come to find is you don't find it, you forge it through a lot of crazy, hard things you experience, right? So you kind of go through these small moments and we'll call it experiences of life that slowly kind of shift you. And I find that in life experiences are what really just kind of reprogram us at a neurological and psychological level. So you end up having this kind of sense where like life has rewired you a certain way and you operate from that way. And so how you're wired has created your life to now and will continue to do so. And here's an example of how it works. Show of hands, actual. Who here has ever been bitten by a dog? Show of hands. Oh, that's a lot. Dang, I'm sorry for that. Who here has never been bitten by a dog? Cool. All right, let him loose. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. Now, imagine, right? Half of you, if a dog came in, out the door, right? Stumbling, hitting people in the face to get out of here, right? Other half's going, oh, look, a puppy dog, right? What's the separation? A past experience that unconsciously wired you to operate a certain way without even thinking about it. That mechanism shows up every single day in every area of your life. It's where your financial takes place, your relationship, everything is tied to that. But what's cool about it is this: if experiences wired you that way, experiences can rewire you. Now, I found myself navigating this kind of world where I go, I want to step into something new. I chose to try to build myself by trying to get great at the game of football. Now, football is interesting because you're in this high-stakes environment. On top of that, you have to execute very precisely under pressure. And that pressure, it's interesting. They say pressure busts pipes, it also makes diamonds, right? But what's unique is in this realm, like you do things, and over time you get these cool outcomes. These outcomes start to kind of feel good. Now, some are good and some are bad, right? But the outcomes, these results, and over time they got better and better for me. And after a lot of life experiences, I get to a point where I had the sense of like dominant and tender, like I felt strong. More so, I had proof. I had outcomes that proved who I was and what I was capable of doing. Same way all of you have done the exact same thing in your life. So I'm going through this journey of navigating like what I want to do, and I realize this: if you work hard, the actions improve. If the actions improve, the outcomes improve. Now you feel different and strong, right? So for me, I tried it at football. I went from being this little skinny guy right here, which, there he is. I tried football. It wasn't good, but here's what it was. I killed myself in a weight room on the football field, doing as best I can with the goal of being great. But here's the unique thing. I would find myself in situations where I'm drenched in sweat, rust on my hands from the weight room, and my own teammates are, hey, Trucks, you skinny man, get out the weight room, right? Hey, Butterfingers, quit catching footballs. You can't do that. Like, my own teammates made fun of me for trying to be great at something. Sound familiar? We all have this experience in life. Now, for me, I leaned in and realized that I want to continue to be great, so I kept pushing to be greatest thing regardless. And it was interesting because you fast forward a few years, I got a little bit better. My teammates ended up having to watch me play football on national television, right? This is the nature of life. And I pushed, but here's the thing. My experience in life, what it was rewiring me. Me trying to get good in life and at football taught me something. It wired me to be dominant at my core, to develop what I believe we all have the capacity for, which is a dominator's identity. That shows up to defining moments in your life with a mentality of, I have done too much work in the dark to lose in the light. It's guttural, right? It's an ownership piece. And the purpose of this identity isn't to dominate everybody else. It's to go, I'm going to dominate the weaker, submitter version in me. Submits to hardship, excuses, the one that crumbles under pressure, right? And when I'm in this dance of life, I realize that this identity, the strength one, carried me all the way to the NFL. I got big and buff and my shoulders still hurt from this. But here's the thing, like in this journey going towards it, like I found that in the football realm, NFL, you show up, everybody's the same playbook, same coaches, same information, but some guys, they thrive in the chaos, some crumble underneath it. And I came to learn it's not the knowledge, right? What changed, what was different was the way we operate at the identity level. Some guys would go there thinking, man, I hope I belong. Some dudes go, no, I know I belong. And that changes how you show up and actually perform on that football field. What I came to find is that we as humans perform and take actions at the level we identify as. As a football player, I would get up at 5 in the morning, get after it, right? I wasn't motivated to do so. Nobody is. They're lying if they say they are. What it was I identify as a football player, as an athlete. And that's what athletes do. So you come to find over time what you end up pouring into with actions, you become at an identity level. It's a beautiful gift you can give to yourself. So for me, I wanted to navigate this and I pushed forward. Man, I built this strong identity inside. That was fake me. Oh, right? Here's what's crazy about it. This guy, he had a sense of self. And what you find is that, this dude had he could ridiculously disciplined, powerful execution, right? But here's the unique thing about this. I had that on the outside looking in. People thought it was easy for me to do stuff. But I built to that. And truthfully, it's because you will fight to stay in alignment heavily with the identity you believe inside. And so you take action over time to where things go from being hard to do to eventually they're hard not to do. It's who you are to do it, right? Parenting, business, whatever it might be. Now for me, it carried me to some high levels. But life has a way of punching you in the stomach when you don't want it to. So I found myself, one fateful night we'll call it, playing against the Philadelphia Eagles as a Pittsburgh Steeler. An eagle jumps on my back, tears my shoulder, ends my season, and eventually ends my entire football career. To this day, this shoulder goes here, I'm stuck right here. Hi guys, it sucks. But that's the nature of the game, right? So all of a sudden, out of nowhere, my entire identity, done. I get robbed of the thing that makes me have my core sense of self, and I'm navigating life post-football. I don't know what to do. And I go, I gotta find a way to get back to me. So I go, I'm gonna choose something easy. Business, dumb? All right, so I read the books, seminars, courses, everything you can imagine to lean into it, right? But I couldn't operate outside the identity of an athlete. The thing I wanted to do, I didn't have the sense of self to do it, and I found myself going broke in business, ran into the same wall we oftentimes do, the wall of procrastination, hesitation, a lot of excuses as to why I wasn't successful. Here's the crazy thing. I would ask myself a question, why in the world is it this guy who used to run at other humans full speed and enjoy it, couldn't send an email out out of fear of getting rejected? Wild, right? But that was my thing, and so I didn't know how to navigate this whole piece. But I found myself later on looking in the mirror, realizing something. that over life, like I'd gone through a journey of like, I didn't lack knowledge and information. I lacked a sense of identity in that business realm. So I'm sitting here looking at myself, I go, Ant-Man, I don't know who you are. It's not me, by the way. So I'm like, what's going on? Well, I was taking action at the level of my identity, right? And that identity said, I'm not good in business. I'm unclear of how to do stuff. And so that was the dance of it all. But what happened is I realized it's not knowledge that drives us. It's how do you fight for the identity you believe that you have. And so here through it, if you believe yourself to be a great artist, you fight to make great art. But if you fight because you think you're an idiot, you'll fight to make that right also. So I fought to be great in business. My goal is, let me get great in business. After a lot of years of what I call dark work experiences, you have to go through experiences, I rewired myself. And I started coaching other people and found the same problem. All the information in the world, no action, because they honestly didn't identify as a person to take action. Or they wouldn't sleep at night until they got done. So first person I call a submitter identity. Not a weak person per se, but a weaker identity that's waiting for permission. And I want to know for sure with certainty, and I got to have confidence to do it, right? Other person goes, I take action. I don't know what you're doing, and they get after it and move things forward. Same world, same information, but different identity, different action, and different outcomes in life. That's why oftentimes the most informed person in a room is not the most successful, because information requires identity to activate it to actually have success in what you want to do. So for me, I go, well, how do we make a shift, right? How do I actually go to that point of not being this guy, but actually get to the point of making a shift in my life? And here's what I found. It does not happen because you think about it. I want to be different. And you think, no, it doesn't happen that way. What it is, it's a lot of consistent, repetitive, butt-puckering, uncomfortable actions that you take that create experiences that rewire you. Yeah, you saw, yeah. Rewire you to go like, man, I feel different, right? And it happens one of two ways. On demand, I choose it, or when crap hits the fan, life goes falling apart. I have been tired of life leading me through crazy. I choose to do it on demand. And I call this dark work. It's the unseen work in the dark that creates identity rewiring experiences. It's keeping promises to yourself. It's actually showing up when it's inconvenient. It's actually taking the reps with no applause but your own. And I did this in a lot of different stages of my life and found that over time, something cool has happened. On the outside looking in, like, oh, it's just nothing, right? But inside, man, when you do it little by little, you start to anchor pieces of proof of who you are, what you can do. And then over time, something unique happened. I was rewired to be somebody completely different. My success now, it's not tied to my information. It's tied to the fact that I know that if you give me any opportunity, I'm gonna step into something, I know how to rewire myself to be dominant in that arena of life, period. Identity leads the way. So I wanna leave you with something, because that whole journey, it happens slow. And you get to this point of feeling great, but to get here, there's a little piece you gotta keep in mind. The goal should not be for us to go, well, who do I go to? What information do I need to take action? The goal is to go, who must I become so taking action feels completely natural to me? Because information, it's not holding you back. We have more accessible at our fingertips than ever in human history. It's that your identity doesn't align with the dream you have. Information is the path, but identity is the permission to do so. When those two align, action's automatic. Success becomes second nature for you. So the idea is to go, yeah, while information could be the pathway and the guide, identity is what launches you, which is why I believe to my core that identity outranks information. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.